Good evening and welcome to the Celina Board of Education meeting. This is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purposes of conducting the school district's business. It's not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask all to stand. Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag there. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Sommer, roll call, please.
Mr. Black.
Here.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Here.
Mr. Huber.
Here.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Here.
Mr. Sal.
Here.
This time I'd entertain a motion to set the agenda.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Gingrich, Ms. Voorhees. It's nice to see you guys get in there.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often.
I like it. We're on the stick tonight.
Good
job.
I'm looking at the reception of the public. Seeing none, let us move on
I
to...
need to call the roll on that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Sommer.
Mrs. Gingrich.
Aye.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
Mr. Sal.
Yes.
Mr. Huber.
Yes.
Mr. Black.
Yes. Now, seeing that we have no public signed up, we'll move on to the approval of the consensus agenda. And again, I'll entertain a motion in a second.
So moved.
Mr. Sell,
I'll second.
Mr. Hebert, we're all on the board. Mr. Sommer, proceed at your leisure.
Okay, I'm asking you to approve the minutes of the January 11th, 2020 organizational meeting and regular meeting, and the January 21st and February 1st special board meetings. Asking you to approve the January financial summary report showing $2.74 million in revenues and $3.6 million in expenditures. Approve the investment control report as of January 31st, 2021 with an ending balance of $7.381 million. Asking you to approve the January 2021 SM2. Approve the January 2021 checks written for almost $3.26 million. Accept the following donations of $500 from Sutter Brothers to TriStar for the FFA jackets. And item number 7, authorize myself to establish the Jerry L. Andrew, and I'm going to insert Article 3 Trust Scholarship Fund.
Is there a specific, there's got to be a reason why we're doing that. What's
Well,
the...
Mr. Andrew left a lot of money to the city of Celina at the Civic Foundation and also some to the school district in various means. And he was also related to the Meyer family, who also has scholarships. This is money that is sitting at Thrivent, and we're going to be receiving quarterly interest payments that we can use for scholarships. At the end of 10 years, that seed money that's sitting in Thrivent is going to be split between Celina City Schools and the Mercer County Civic Foundation. Right now, that account is a little over $1.2 million.
I'm sorry, at the end of
Thrivent.
At the end of
10 years.
Okay.
So this scholarship fund, is this being set up through the Civic Foundation?
No, this will be on our books.
On our books? Okay.
We'll let the quarterly interest come in for this first year, and then next spring, we'll see how much we have and how much we can award
Okay.
for the first time.
Right.
And this one doesn't say, Mr. Summer, is this an academic scholarship, I would imagine?
I'm sure we'll work with the guidance counselors at the high school as far as,
The criteria for it.
Mr. Andrews was a advocate. He loves Celina Bulldogs, period.
Yeah.
Athletics, whatever. I mean, one of his things that I read is he told the Civic Foundation, if the city ever needs a water tower, I want there to be enough money there to pay for a water tower. So,
Wow. What a good way to
yeah.
do things. Yeah.
So,
Is there anything with the Article 3 that's a reason for that?
it's just the way it's read on the statement that I got from Thrivent. And I just wanna
Make
keep
sure it
it
all
separate,
matches.
make
Yep.
sure it's,
Okay.
because at 10 years, when we get that whole lump, it becomes the, what is it? I think John and Helen Meyer and
Jerry.
Jerry Andrews Scholarship Fund. I mean, it'll have all three names on it, so.
Sounds good. Sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Mr. Summer? Dr. Kuhn, you want to mention real quick, you changed that we are now looking at the superintendent's classified report rather than the assistant superintendent report?
Correct, yes. It made more sense to us because Section B always dealt with our classified employees. So since we don't have an assistant superintendent, instead of people scratching their heads and wondering, well, why are we calling it that? It makes more sense to call it the classified, and the next section deals with certified employees.
That does make sense.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Craig. Under personnel for the classified report, we're asking you to hire the following individuals who have completed their 60-day probationary period. Rita Nagy is a teacher assistant at the primary. Ingrid Smith is a bus driver with Head Start. Marcia Houston is a bus aide with Head Start. And Jeff Hayes is a bus aide with Head Start. Item number 5, asking you to approve a 60-day probationary contract for Alan Bills. He is a bus driver now for Celina City Schools. So he would be taking over Deb Hull's old route. He's been subbing that route this year so far. Number 6, approve a change of contract for Judy Waterman. She's adding a second job, and this one will be as custodian at the middle school, 4 hours per day.
What else does she do?
Yes, what's your first job?
Cafeteria.
At the same school?
I know.
I think she's at the primary, isn't she?
Okay,
Primary sounds correct.
okay.
Number 7 and 8 are deduct day requests for Rachel Hine, teacher assistant at Head Start, and also for Kristen Kearns, the building secretary at the high school. Number 9, asking you to approve a change of contract for Lydia Bulkheim. She's the EL liaison. She has shown us that she does have a year of experience, so we're asking you to approve that. Move forward with resolution. Approved to advertise for bids for fertilizer and weed control, and also the mowing and field marking for 3-year seasonal contracts for 2021, 2022, and 2023. What this is doing, different from the past, actually the fertilize and also the mowing now will be under one contract and having those separate. That way the people that are mowing the grass are able to see what's happening better with the lawn and can be more well-informed as they're applying fertilizer.
Did I miss an attachment as to the expense for this?
putting
We're
out for
going
bids.
out for
We don't
bids.
check
Oh,
So-
it's for bids, oh, gotcha.
Correct.
Hasn't always been a 3-year contract? For some reason, I thought we always did it annually.
We just did annually last year to line them up,
Okay.
otherwise they have been 3-year
Okay,
contracts.
all right.
And they will be doing all of the fertilization and the weed control, the group that mows it as well?
We may be doing some of the fertilizing, and that is specified out in the bid.
Okay.
So they are well aware of what areas need to be mowed, marked, fertilized, and
Just a thought, looking forward, let's say the levy passes, there's gonna be a lot of construction and not a lot of mowing going on in certain areas. Is there gonna be something in the bid to stipulate deduction costs for that?
for the start of the construction, actually, it'll take up a small amount of yard on the west side of the
Correct.
5-6 building, so, you know, that's pretty much looking at the first 2 years.
Mhm,
Then after that, most of the construction's going to be happening where the primary building is.
mhm.
So again, that's not all grass area, but that will be.
Okay,
If we notice going forward that this needs to be redone, I'd say in 3 years, certainly from now,
yeah.
we'll have another opportunity to look at it and make adjustments as needed.
'Cause
That's
they're
a
gonna
good
have-
thought, though.
They're gonna have a big area caged
Mhm.
off
Mhm.
for all it, so they're gonna have that
That's a
whole
good point.
west side of that building. If this all passes, that'll probably all be blocked off. So
So-
there'll be quite a bit of
So do
mowing
you
that would have to be
think,
done.
so would we leave some kind of an opening there that if we needed to change the area being mowed? during contract? Or how do you
Another
do
big
that?
part of that is moving our bus garage. So the bus garage fenced-in area is going to be actually used by the construction company
Mhm.
for those 2 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that'll
that's
also
where-
keep us off of a good amount of that.
That's where
gas.
they're gonna put their trailers and stuff like that, from what I understand. That's where they were gonna
They
set up.
won't require a job trailer because they'll be able to use our
Oh,
transportation
there you
building.
go, yeah.
So that's a piece we were looking at as far as saving some money during this construction
Good
project.
idea.
I do wanna apologize if anyone's listening, the boiler system's knocking right next to the camera. So if you're hearing that, we hear it too. That's a 100-year-old boiler system knocking, and so just be aware. Dr. Ken, please continue.
Good point. We'll go on to the certified report then. First, we're looking to, asking you to approve the following substitutes: Molly Baltzell, Macy Griesdorn, Kristen Kirby, Gabrielle Oplinger, Amber Stoltz, Kent Wicker, Paige Clooney, Aaron Harlemert, Natasha Kittle, Tyler Pranger, Maria Van Tilburg, Bailey Exman, Dennis Hurt, Ryan Lutmer, Megan Smith, and Christopher Wibbenmeyer. Now, on that list, all but 3 of them have high school diplomas. So again, that's that new criteria that we passed just recently, that those folks would be allowed to sub for us.
Just to be clear, all of them have high school diplomas, all but 3 of them just have, their highest form of education is high school diplomas.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a good distinction. So they're all high school graduates, 3 have additional training.
Correct.
Okay.
Asking you to approve the resignation due to retirement of Jackie Mertz, English teacher at the middle school, after 35 years of service. So thank you, Jackie Mertz, for those wonderful years that you've given to our students.
If you haven't read her resignation
It's
letter,
great.
it's nice. You should pop on and read it.
Mhm.
Let's give
It's
it
a
to
good one.
Jackie.
A little walk down memory lane for
It
her.
is.
We do have a couple deduct day requests for items 3 and 4. Dawn Adams is asking for 2 deduct days. Actually, she's canceling 2, and then she's requesting 2 new ones to take the place of those first ones that have been changed. Robin Weininger is requesting 1 deduct day on item number 4. Then we're asking you to approve a change of a pupil activity contract for Laura Gurman, assistant varsity softball, from 1 year of experience to 8 years of experience that she has found for us.
It's a big jump. What happened
Yes,
there?
Yes, it is.
Was she a softball coach in an area school that didn't?
Now, when we hire them, they have to actually send papers over to their previous employer, and then that has to be returned to us.
Okay.
So that's why we're able to change it after we initially hire.
Do you know where she coached prior to Celina?
I do not have that. I can go back and look that record up. but-
Just curious.
Then we're asking you to approve the following personnel for pupil activity programs. These are all assistant middle school track coaches: Mike Dodds, Luke Bowser, and Carrie Dameron. Number 7 and number 8, along with 9, 10, 11, and 12, are asking you to approve administrative contracts for Tracy Dameyer, Special Ed Director, Brett Dorston, School Psychologist, Clinton Hirschfeld, Technology Director, Vaughn Ray, Curriculum Director, Sandy Stahman, Education Manager at Head Start, and Angie Stevenson, Health and Community Services Manager with Head Start. Those were all asked for 3-year contracts.
Just for everyone's benefit, none of these affect any salaries. These are simply adding on 3 years to the term, correct?
That is correct.
So no salary changes.
Those will be decided as we move with the other union contracts.
Yep.
There is no TriStar report this month, and the Head Start monthly report is attachment number 4.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ken.
You're welcome.
Any questions or comments before we move forward? If there are any potential removal items, any questions? Okay, do we have anything that the board would like to have removed from the consensus agenda? Okay, hearing none. We'll do the approval of the consensus agenda. Tom?
Mr. Sell,
Yes.
Mr. Huber,
Yes.
Mrs. Voorhees,
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich,
Yes.
Mr. Flack.
Yes. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Other business, Dr. Ken.
We're asking you for approval of the following personnel supplemental contract. And that would be Erica Drice is going to take the assistant varsity track position. She does have 5 years of experience.
One of Dan Otten's runners now taking over for him.
Were there many applicants for that position that were interested in it?
Because it was open to our certified employees first, and that was a piece, really the head coach names their squad.
Yeah.
So I believe he did have 3 individuals that
Okay.
had expressed interest to him.
Okay. I'm sure she'll do a great job.
I think so.
Has there been anything mentioned about cross-country?
Not at this point.
About, I'm
Though
sorry.
those had been posted, those fall
not.
positions.
I'm sorry, Deb, what did you say?
Cross-country coach.
Cross-country.
Oh, okay.
They
Thank you.
have not been posted,
The
or they?
fall coaching supplementals have been posted, yes.
Okay.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Huber, Mrs. Voorhees. Mr. Summer.
Mr. Huber,
Yes.
Mrs. Voorhees,
Yes.
Mrs. Gingrich,
Yes.
Mr. Sell,
Abstain.
Mr. Flack.
Yes. Dr. Ken, any informational items, or anyone from the board, any informational items or questions at this time?
I have one related to athletics. So I read in tonight's paper that St. Mary's will have a share of the WBL wrestling title no matter what. But if we would defeat them head-to-head in our match this week, we would share the WBL title in wrestling, is that correct?
You are correct. Yes.
Okay. I don't know how that formula works, but it must
It
be
has to
kind
do with the WBL
of
tournament.
convoluted.
The
Yeah.
tournament and the regular
Points.
Yeah,
season.
they
So is it
have them all.
50-50?
Just like the girls just won, the bowling, girls
Mhm.
bowling team just won the tournament, but we were second place in the season with Van Wert as first.
So you guys share.
Flipped, we beat them in the tournament, so we got the same amount of points, so we tie for co-champions.
That was my next question, how did bowling do? How about the guys?
The boys did really well, they had a shot to win the tournament. I think it came pretty much down to the last Baker game or two that they bowled, and Walpock ran away with it and took it, so. It ended up being Walpock first, St. Mary's second, then Celina third, so.
Well,
in the season.
congratulations on
Yeah.
the girls, though.
Really good
They've
season.
had a great year.
Really good season for all the bowlers.
Good. And the girls' basketball team won a WBL game also.
Yes, they did.
So we will not be in the cellar in that regard.
Correct.
Good. They're moving.
A lot of tournament action starting up here.
Oh, yeah.
So for wrestling, they're not done with the season yet, they have St. Mary's yet
Yeah,
this
they
week?
have one more.
And that's it then, right?
And then they'll
And
go
then they'll
into
go to
tournaments.
sectionals or whatever.
Mhm.
I was wishing luck, because they're having
Yeah.
a great season,
Mhm.
a lot of talent there.
They're
On
pretty
that
good.
on that same line, I had someone ask me, would there have been a way that they could have used the field house this year for wrestling and allowed more people to come in as, to participate as in the audience?
So I
Could
reached
that-
out
Did we have
to,
other things that same night?
I reached out to
Right.
Mr. Vorkamp directly about
Yeah.
that, and he said that they never turned one parent away from that.
Okay,
So,
well, not parents.
Well-
What I heard from were
sure, but,
grandparents, because of the numbers.
yep, but that this year, given the realities, is,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of grandparents that haven't, there's been a lot of
No,
parents,
No, I
so.
agree, and I'm not debating that, I'm just wondering,
I just know from having a wrestler, it's difficult to move all that equipment and everything over.
Yeah, we wouldn't have the
There you
mats at
go.
the
I
field.
mean,
That
it's,
would be the
it's really,
logistics of
it
it
really
right
takes a
there.
lot, because we used to have the
No,
big
that-
tournament in town.
Mhm.
It would, we'd
That's
have to move it all the
exactly
night
it.
before.
that's a 2 or 3 day job.
Yeah, it is, I mean,
It
it's a
is.
lot when you're asking just for a dual meet.
I know after a basketball game, they were moving all the wrestling mats over here the night before after the basketball game 2 years ago.
Well, yeah, when they used to do the,
Mhm.
oh, what was it called? What was the big
That
tournament?
The
invitational,
Lions.
The Lions Invitational, yeah, we would set up after a basketball game,
oh, yeah,
and then that morning we'd have to be back trying to set up, you know, everything else. It was,
and then
it was
sometimes.
a lot of work.
And
And then the
sometimes you
cleaning.
had to have it out of there
Yeah.
before the musical started.
It was a
On
lot
the
of work,
weekend, too.
so I can see where if that was the case, why they wouldn't necessarily
Yep,
want to
that
do
makes
that at a
sense.
dual meet.
And the WBO meet then was in Defiance?
Correct.
It was just a hard year because
Yes.
there's such a quality program.
Mhm.
It draws more interest, it draws more excitement, and then that runs into COVID restrictions, and
Exactly.
it's frustrating to everyone, especially a grandparent wants to go see, you know.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah,
We do have to, you know, thank them for putting all those events on live, because you did have an opportunity to
I'm
at least
assuming
see it, maybe not in person, but
most of the sectionals, they're not, I
They're
know our
probably
sectional's
similar.
not allowing any spectators.
they probably won't allow that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Wonder- You would think at a bowling alley you could disperse somewhat.
You can, they just
don't do it.
It's just not
Yeah.
an option.
don't allow any, periods, they don't want anybody
And that way they don't have to
Well,
fight
there's
with
less
it.
liability
be
on their
favored,
part.
so.
Yeah, have they done any drawings for the basketball tournament yet? Do we know who
The
we got?
girls play on the 17th.
And who are they playing?
St. Mary's, at St. Mary's.
Oh,
Boys?
That girl, I believe, is this weekend, on Sunday, I believe.
Okay.
well, I got two items. Just first, I know I speak for the board when I extend our condolences to Jonathan Williams. He's the reason we have all these excellent live videos. He's typically filming these, but he's over at the spelling bee. His father passed away, so we send our condolences and prayers to him as his family mourns that. We thank him for the service to his district. He does a wonderful job. And then also just to remind people that our levy is approved and official. It will be on the books starting May 4th, and our campaign team is starting to work through that messaging to the community to get out information. I would just encourage anyone in the community that has questions, at least I know I've been already fielding several questions, wonderings. The Daily Standard's done a wonderful job of giving very detailed articles on several occasions, but please feel free to reach out to any one of us. We're happy to give you information, either verbally or as well as getting that. The one thing, I hope people are excited, we've been told that we'll be working with our architect, Garmin Miller, some 3D rendering fly-throughs, those videos that give people a real kind of bird's eye view, literally, of the facilities, as well as we're hoping to have 2D renderings, artist renderings, colorized and blown up and put around town for people to see. One of the feedback we got from our previous campaign is it's hard to envision something that you haven't seen. And so we want to help the voter and the citizen of Celina be able to see this project and really kind of sink their teeth into it and let their imagination run what we could really do for the next generation. So we settled on a campaign slogan of Together We Will, and we really feel like together we will do this for the kids of Celina and for our community. It's definitely time. So if anyone has any questions about that, please reach out to us, and you'll be seeing our faces on videos and more information, because an informed voter is a healthy voter, and we want to make sure they have all the information from the campaign side.
I've got one more thing to add. Sincere appreciation to the Jerry Andrews scholarships. What a wonderful thing in the memory of Jerry Andrews. That's tremendous for our community and the school. But also Dan Otten has pledged to help the school district in athletics, particularly cross-country and track, in the form of scholarships and other help. So things like that, sometimes I tend to overlook the importance of it and the meaning of it, how much it truly helps the district and how kind-hearted that really is. So I think we all really appreciate those things.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Any other comments or things for the good of the order? Okay, hearing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Have a good night.